Hey, happy, beautiful, amazing day. Dr. Bob Rakowski here, truth seeker and truth speaker on May 16th, 2020, with our SARS COVID update. We have a picture here of Albert Einstein saying that education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. And so we actually want to get better at critical thinking. And then I do want to correct an error that I made out of context. So I'll do this first. So yesterday, I was actually lured in by a video where at the time, President Barack Obama said basically that ordinary men and women are too small-minded to govern their own affairs, and that order and progress can only come when individuals surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign. Well, taking only a piece of that, it sounded like that's what he was promoting. I was sent information from several friends that I verified. That was only a part of the speech, and it was taken out of context. So I apologize for that. I will occasionally make errors, but when I do, my best to correct it will always follow. So there's a thing called the Eco Alliance for Health. And you can look them up. And basically, they're talking about disease X, the next pandemic. And they want to work towards a world without pandemics. And they want to say what stands between you and the next pandemic. And they're suggesting that it is a predictive vaccine that would actually help. So understand that we've got 10 quintillion viruses by some estimates. How can we pick the next one? How can we pick how they'll mutate? And I'm going to encourage you to look at the efficacy of the flu vaccine and also see that people that got this vaccine were more at risk to get COVID. Why? Because their immune system was compromised. Lots of partners in this Eco Alliance, including the CDC and the National Institutes of Health. And interestingly enough, New York City Health, which fascinating, if we had to look at where this virus, this pandemic has had the greatest impact, New York City. So they're not doing a good job at all with health. So CEPI, new vaccines for a safer world. They want to, again, create and predict vaccines, right? They want to predict which virus is going to come out there. So Bill Gates, his money is tied into a lot of this. And here's what he said. He hoped to cut the time between identifying and deploying a vaccine from as many as 10 years to less than 12 months. Now, what's fascinating about that is these recent outbreaks have all resolved faster than that period of time. So what happens is, this is throughout human history. Things come, things go. Things come, things go. Now, what was the bubonic plague? That was, garbage-infested streets, rats, and fleas. When they cleaned up the environment, that made the biggest difference. If we look at public health, we'll find out as we clean up the external environment, we decrease pestilence and death from infectious disease. So is our world super clean? No, air quality is predictive of this COVID death. So a lot of immunologists suggest we should go towards herd immunity, and that's how we have beaten every pandemic throughout human history. Remember, vaccines are relatively new on the horizon, but infectious disease has been around since the beginning of time. So herd immunity is when enough people are protected within the community, like the young, healthy kids interacting in school, sharing this virus, so that basically there's no basis to spread the disease. And I find it absolutely fascinating that Dr. Fauci made these statements. It's easy enough to find. Now, I hope we don't have so many people infected that we actually have herd immunity. Why would you ever hope that? If you're for public health, wouldn't you want herd immunity? Remember, his goal is to create herd immunity with a vaccine, which just seems strange. Powerful quote here. It's often been said, follow the money. And this quote is, crime, money, power, drugs are all linked. So I want you to just think if maybe that's the case here. We certainly know money, power, and drugs are all linked. Is there any crime in there anyway? Well, time will tell, but please be a critical thinker. So this was something that was sent to me by a friend And they were following the money all the way through. So this CEPI, right, the predictive vaccines, there we have a central character there. Event 201, central character there. Global preparedness, central character there. All of this different kind of money, World Health Organization, central character there. And then as we see how these things are all bound together, it's pretty fascinating that there have been a lot of high-level people on this thought about, hey, let's get vaccines, let's get vaccines, let's get vaccines. And some of them want to inject everybody. I'm for freedom of choice. I think that people are smart enough to make a decision whether or not they want to inject themselves and their kids. And it almost seems like we need to fight for that right, because people that will profit are having a strong push to take that freedom away. So I like this from Blaise Pascal. Truth is so obscured nowadays and lies so well established that unless we love the truth, we shall never recognize it. I'm going to encourage you to be a truth seeker. I've had a number of people reach out to me and they say, you know what, I like what you're sharing. Please share more. So I've been talked into creating an 11-week course. 11 weeks to create health, success, happiness, focusing on your health, focusing on things you control to create a better world. I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, absolutely knowing that we can all be happy, healthy, and successful.